Hi class, hope you guys have enjoyed your snow day, but now we get to go back to work with our lovely computers doing an AMI day. Alright, so we are going to start on our first little bit of Refugee. We've kind of talked about this book, how refugee means you are leaving your area where you're living at to go to a place that was better. Today we are going to start reading about, hold on, sorry I got the wrong page, about Joseph. So, as you listen to me reading about Joseph, I want you to either take notes or also have open the document. It's called Character Notes for Refugee Bloom Ball. Here's the deal. You will get lots of copies of parts that we will put into what's be stapled into a ball. But right now, I don't want you to worry about that. Right now, I just want you to get the basic facts about our first character, Joseph. So, as you can see in the document, looks like that. Those are the questions you are filling out. So the first question asks, refugee's full name. We will get that here shortly. And sorry, another little head in the background bobbing. So here we go. Joseph. He is from Berlin, Germany in 1938. You can tell him at school. Crack, bang. Joseph Landru shot straight up in bed. His heart was racing. That sound, it was like someone had kicked in the front door in, or had he dreamed it? Alright, so now we know the character's full name. Joseph Landru. That is Josef. And then his last name is Landau. Landau. That is the first character's full name. Then it asks, what country and continent are they from? We can see they are from Berlin, Germany. I know it's backwards. Sorry, guys. So he is from Berlin, Germany. Then it also asks, what year does the story take place? That is 1938. Alright, so we have those first three parts done. Joseph listened, straining his ears in the dark. He wasn't used to that sound of this new flat, or the smaller one he and his family were forced to move into. They couldn't afford their old place, not since the Nazis told Joseph's father he wasn't allowed to practice law anymore because he was Jewish. Alright, that takes us to our next question. Leader of the country, if you want to put Nazis in there for right now, we could do that and just let it hang. And then religion or culture, we now know that he is Jewish. I have to put his Jew, Jew. Across the room, Joseph's little sister, Ruth, was still asleep. Joseph tried to relax. Maybe he had just been having a nightmare. Something in the darkness outside his room moved, with a grunt and a scuffle. Someone was in the house. Joseph scrambled backward on his bed, his eyes wide. He was scanning There was a shattering sound in the next room. Ksh! Ruth woke up and screamed in her sheer blind terror. She was only 6 years old. Mama! Joseph cried. Papa! Towering shadows burst in the room. The air seemed to be crackle around them, like static from a radio. Joseph tried to hide in the corner of his bed, but the shadowy hand snatched him, grabbed him. He screamed even louder than his little sister, drowning her out. He kicked and flailed in a panic, but one of the shadows caught his ankle and dragged him, face first across his bed. He clawed at the sheets, but his hands were too strong. Joseph was so scared he wet himself, the warm liquid spreading through his night clothes. No! Joseph screamed, no! The shadows threw him onto the floor. Another shadow picked up Ruth by her hair and slapped her. Be quiet, the shadow yelled. It tossed Ruth down on the floor beside Joseph. The shock shut Ruth up, but only a moment. Then she wailed even harder and louder. Hush, Ruthie, hush, Joseph begged her. He took her in his arms and wrapped her in a protective hug. Hush now! They crowded together on the floor as the shadows picked them up and threw them on Ruthie's bed. Crash! The bed broke into pieces. The shadows tore down pictures, pulled drawers from their bureaus, and flung clothes everywhere. They broke lamps and light bulbs. Joseph and Ruthie clung to each other, terrified, wet-faced with tears. The shadows grabbed them again, dragged them into the living room. They threw Joseph and Ruth on the floor once more and flicked on the overhead light. As Joseph's eyes adjusted, he saw 7 strangers who invaded his home. Some of them wore regular clothes, white shirts with sleeves rolled up and gray slacks, brown wool caps, leather work boots. More of them wore the brown shirts with the red swastikas, armbands of the Hitler stormtroopers. Joseph's mother and father were there too, lying at the floor, at the feet of the brown shirts. Joseph, Ruth, mother cried. She saw them. She hugged her children, but one of the Nazis grabbed her nightgown and pulled her back. Aaron Lardur, one of the brown shirts said to Joseph's father, you have continued to practice law, despite the fact that Jews are forbidden to do so under Civil Service Restoration Act of 1933. For this crime was against the German people. You will be taken into protective custody. Joseph's father looked panicked. This is a misunderstanding, Papa said. If you'd give me a chance to explain. The brown shirt ignored Papa and said, if you'd give me a chance, and said, the 2 Nazis yanked Joseph's father to his feet and dragged him to the door. No, Joseph cried. He had to do something. He leapt to his feet, grabbed the arm of one of the men carrying his father, tried to pull him off. 2 more of those men jerked Joseph away and held him as he fought against them. The brown shirt in charge laughed. Ha! Look at this one, he said, pointing to the spot on Joseph's nightclothes. The boy peed himself. The Nazis laughed, and Joseph's face burned hot with shame. He struggled in the men's arms, trying to break free. You'll be a man soon enough, the Joseph told them. I'll be a man in 6 months and 11 days. The Nazis laughed at him. Ha! 6 months and 11 days, the brown shirt said. Not that he's counting. The brown shirt suddenly turned serious. Perhaps you're close enough that we should take you to a concentration camp too, like your father. No, Mama cried. No, my son's just 12. He's just a boy. Please don't. Ruth wrapped herself around Joseph's leg and wailed, Don't take him! Don't take him! The brown shirt scowled at the nose and gave the men carrying Aaron a dismissive wave. Joseph watched as they dragged Papa away to the sounds of Mama's sobs and Ruthie's wails. Don't be so quick to grow up, boy, the brown shirt told Joseph. Your time will come soon enough. The Nazis trashed the rest of Joseph's house, breaking the furniture and smashing the plates and tearing the curtains. They left as suddenly as they had come, and Joseph and his sister and his mother huddled together on their knees in the middle of the room. At last, when they cried all the tears they could, Rachel, the mother, led her children to her room, but put them back to bed together and hugged Joseph and Ruth close until the morning. All right, I'm going to pause there. That's a quick little break to the next section in this chapter.